So I want to talk about the sadness of the Playboy Mansion and the sadness of the most beautiful women um, suffering and having been abused. And there are very, very dark secrets from the mansion. Now, I don't want to name any particular person because every single woman that went was sold a lie and a fantasy. And honestly, I think it was like Beverly Hills Cop or some movie in the 1980s that, had been shot at some point at the Playboy Mansion. And oh, who doesn't want to go there? You saw bikinis and volleyball and this beautiful pool and hot men and they were in a little bow tie and like hot digs and the girls were insanely beautiful. And if you don't want to have that, it's very rare. You can find a different element of, oh, I'll get a cabana boy, I'll get a hot waiter, I'll get a hot woman, whatever. And so they presented this outside image. And what Hugh Hefner did was secretly, this wasn't true, but what he portrayed to the world was that he treated all these women wonderfully and that he did everything so tastefully. And on the other hand, Larry Flint was, like a pig, and his magazine was gross and too graphic. But they were both really the same. Larry Flint might have put more on the cover, but Hugh Hefner did more behind the scenes. And there's a huge fallout now because apparently they took pictures of women that were there, and this would be women female blackmail, like the Jeffrey Epstein blackmail, but they wanted, you know, photos of the women that they didn't even know that were taken. And were all the rooms, loaded with cameras? I don't know. But I know it was a very controlled place to live. And just from watching the couple episodes I did of that, when they did the Bunny Next Door, whatever it was, they said they had to be home at a certain time. They couldn't date. Um, I really, they had these really weird rules for adult women. And they were all considered Hef's girlfriends. So they had to have this code where to live in the house, this is ABC. And of course, they got paid, they got meals, they got an allowance, um, and whatever. But the house itself was apparently dark, had a lot of black mold. It wasn't as well kept up as you would think it would have been. I mean, mansions in general, if they're not, cleaned and protected all the time, they're dark. And so things would grow. And you'd think someone with all that kind of money, it would be completely kept to the T. Um, but one of the things that everyone should be really suspicious about is Hugh Hefner. And the, the reason he kept repeating his younger girls version is that when you grab people between 18 and say 22, 23, they're not fully even aware of how to define who they wanted to be and say no. And they can be easily controlled and manipulated. And of course, then if you're taking photographs of them that you hold over them, gee, you might be able to hold them a little longer. But it was, and I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that most of them would have had to sign an NDA. Most, I'm going to Google this because I don't actually know that. I'm going to see. Dude, did Playmates have to Yeah, they did. And it was ironclad. Ooh. Now, when you are dealing with crimes and blackmail, they are not included in an NDA, but these girls are brainwashed to think that they are. So they've kept these secrets for so long. And I forget how I remember, or somebody, one of my audience or something said they had to sign an NDA. So that's how I know. And they had to, here it is, an ironclad NDA upon entering the house. It prevented her from revealing details about her experiences, including parties held in his bedroom. So again, when they sign this NDA, it never includes any crimes, but they don't know that. So they're scared into thinking if I violate the NDA, he's going to sue me. And there's still people coming out now with the bravery to tell the truth. And there's also an issue because these secretly filmed women, and I guess there's, dozens and dozens of, or hundreds and hundreds of them. They want to put them on digital archives, which will give people access to them. And the first thing I can just see it happening, they all get uploaded. Ooh, somebody hacked the thing because it's probably already pre-planned that they're going to take these women and then violate them via the internet. And it's absolutely frightening. And so many people that sign these NDAs probably don't even know there's photographs that they don't even know are in it. And I think it should be burned. I don't think it should be made public at all. I think it's a disgrace that anyone's even thinking about it. But there's just dark, dirty money to be made by all these incredibly beautiful photographs. And the people and the heirs of the Playboy like mansion, whoever took it over, they still want them. And so it shouldn't even be legal that they're trying to do it, but I think there's a court case ongoing. I can Google that and double check because I never know what's current or not. Is there a lawsuit to stop Playboy photos? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm typing too fast. Being released. February 2026. Um, the widow of the Playboy founder has taken legal action to prevent this release. So she's getting a lot of flack for that. And Gloria Allred is helping her. But here's what it says. She alleges that Hugh Hefner Foundation, which again, to try to shirk responsibility from the fact that they were taken in the house, you have this fake foundation now. And they possess thousands of scrapbooks and journals containing highly personal information regarding his sexual exploits, including images of women and underage girls that were taken without the consent. Whoa. Represented by Gloria Allred, she filed a regulatory complaint with California and Illinois attorneys general's offices requesting an investigation into the material. So there you have it. And this is a very, very valid case. And it's something everyone should worry about because ultimately it's going to affect the innocent. Because if they let something like this happen, it can happen to you, it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And the fact that they're underage women means it's pedophilia. And we're supposed to be trying to take that down, not give it a new leg and pump it up. And I learned, and I did not know this, that Brooke Shields, hold on a second. She was 10. So she produced a nude in 1975 called Sugar and Spice. And that's pedophilia. And I ache for Brooke Shields because she was so cute and so beautiful. I just remember those beautiful eyes and eyelashes. and she was so adorable. And shame on her parents, but shame on Hugh Hefner, and shame, 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 enough to go all around. And so it's a miracle that Brooke ever survived because, she was so beautiful and she was basically pimped out. Um, and by putting a minor on a cover of Playboy, we didn't even, it never registered to me. I didn't see the cover. I've never seen the cover, but it didn't register to a lot of people. That's pedogate and that's pedophilia. Oh my God, it's so creepy and so scary to even think about it. So, um, you they are right to have this lawsuit, to have zero released. There shouldn't be any images ever made public or put in an archive or added to the internet of a minor. And unfortunately, it's so late for Brooke Shields that she probably can't do anything about the fact that she was so exploited. But the fact that she became such she grew up and she became an actress, and I really don't even know. Here's Wikipedia. I'm just going to go into this to see what it says about her. Legal battle over nude photos, 1981 from 83. Her mother, photographer Gary, and Playboy Press were involved in litigation in New York City. And so court's right to photographs to her mother signed away when with models that are minors must sign a release form while other agreements are subject to negotiation. Gross was the photographer in the set of nude photos taken in 75 of 10-year-old Brooke with the consent of her mother for Playboy. So her mother probably did it for money. And you can't pimp out your child for money like that. But worse, to go publish the ones that weren't the cover again of a minor this late, she's probably involved in those. And just think of any of the Playboy bunnies and maybe children of the Playboy bunnies. I mean, it's just endless. And so it absolutely should not be done at all. But I want to talk to people about, right before Hugh Hefner died. I just want to see something because I remember this. He agreed to remove full nudity from the cover in the March 2016 issue. And then he died, like a couple years later. But what I remember this interview where I heard vaguely paid attention to it, where he just said, with the internet now, it's too dangerous because back in the day you had to go into a store and buy the magazine. And now with the internet, again, this is way before AI, but he ended up realizing the time had come to stop doing that. I thought at the time it was a great thing because I thought, yeah, stop doing that and stop making women believe and feel that the only thing that they have value is if they pose nude, because it's a lifetime resume when you pose. And you're beautiful whether you pose nude or not. You don't need that centerfold to validate that you were born in a nice body and kept it. So anyway, I just ache for the people that believed that this was what they needed to do, and they didn't, and they don't. And we have to stop desensitizing the vulnerability that happens to someone once there's a nude photo, and stop craving it and stop asking for it. The circles that I come in and live around, that isn't even something anyone would ever want or discuss. And we believe all our rights to our intimacy. And it should be that way. And you shouldn't have to worry about stuff appearing on the internet. And so I believe that that lawsuit is going to be won, especially because there's underage children in it, but also because if they did not give consent, but they signed to be in a cover or they signed whatever, and then there were a bunch of other pictures taken, it doesn't mean they consented to the ones that they still want to put on there now and make money on. And so it's a really, really important issue. And all I can tell people is stop wishing for a fantasy that really isn't a fantasy. It was laced with evil around it, under it, and beside it. And you don't, even if you were someone that was bullied or your mom didn't say you were pretty or whatever, the solution isn't to go pose nude and go na 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 na, because that ends up backfiring on you forever. Now, one of my jobs in digital equipment in Massachusetts, one of the girls was a bunny and she got $15,000 for the cover, and it ruined her life. She got fired. Her boyfriend left her. All her friends judged her, and she couldn't get away from it at all. And so I remember watching her suffer and then get fired and then just have to sort of like hide forever. Um, and it's not what you think it is. And so I just want to caution people into letting the world nullify the beauty of you as you are, but also to keep that private. And you will meet people that want a nude. You will meet men that say, send me a picture of your breasts, girls that say, send me a picture of your, penis. I don't even understand that language, but you need to stop doing it because it can never, when it's on the internet or on the phone that somebody else owns, whether it's AT&T or whatever, there's someone with access to that. You can't get it back. And the secret is to never put it on there in the first place. If you have to do that, you have to wonder, why do you need that? Because it's not normal to want to exploit yourself and become that vulnerable. And if you listen to the people that regret it and are in pain about it, and gee, a lawsuit about it, it should click that this is not okay. And that the Playboy Mansion was actually horrible and nothing like what it portrayed itself with all that pink and pink bunny stuff. And I remember, having a Playboy pillow and it was pink. And I was so happy to sell it whenever, because it wasn't even representative of me, but I love the color pink, and somebody gave it to me, and it was just one of those things. But ugh, the idea of what's behind that is the same way as we had to get rid of all the Disney. It just isn't what the image looks like. And we have to stop letting anybody abuse women and make them feel like a slave to something, a slave to the person that has the blackmail on them, a slave to the fact that they sold their body and got a cover, and then it was nude and they have to wear that resume forever. Women need to be respected and honored and not have this happen to them. And they trick people. And again, Hef was a real big person that tricked people because he got them when they were young and before they knew better. And then it became too late to undo. And it's incredibly, incredibly sad. So I just want to protect people so that they never go there, because there isn't any way to undo it. Now, lastly, for the women that did pose, it's no blame, no shame. If you were that gorgeous and you got on the cover, God bless you, except that you didn't have to do it. And you can't live the rest of your life having someone brand you. So, like I told the girl that posed in the company, change your name, move your city, go somewhere where they don't know you. They know you in this area because that's where you grew up. But you have a right to every chapter after this where you call the shots and decide what you're doing. And you don't have to continue to only be known for that. You can do all kinds of other things in your life. And it was a thing that they lured you into and lured you into believing was good for you. And it just happened that it was the opposite. Um, but I wouldn't, if I had ever posed, I would not let that control me to this day. I would do just what I said. Change something, go somewhere else. And if someone ever did recognize me, what I would just say to them is, you know what? That happened to me, and I was lied about what it was supposed to be, and I was too young to know better, and I'd appreciate it if you'd let me live the rest of my life. There's no way I would deny it. I would just own it, but I wouldn't let somebody who's that stupid try to control where I am now. And when you take ownership and you shut them up, and I would actually even further by going, you should be ashamed, because you as a woman must know how horrible it has been for me to overcome that and become something else. And the fact that you have that need means you and I could never know each other, because I don't like shallow people. And so that's how I would handle it. But I want any of the women that did that to let go and not have that be their brand. They don't need to stay attached to that in order to be recognized that way, because you have an additional worth of something. Whatever it was, if you did that, you became something and you have a purpose here. And it isn't to continue wearing that brand till the day you die. Thank you.